In today's video, we're breaking down the 8 most common mistakes people make when buying home insurance and how to avoid them so you don't end up overpaying or left totally unprotected when something goes wrong. What's up, you guys? My name's Ashley Roberts, and if you're shopping for home insurance or just want to make sure your current policy actually has your back, this video is for you. Let's get into it. Let's do a quick little refresher. So, home insurance protects your house and your stuff from things like fires, storms, break-ins, and accidents. It can also help with legal costs, temporary housing, if you need to move out, and medical bills if someone gets hurt on your property. But here's what most people miss. Not all policies cover the same stuff. You might think you're good until something happens and you're hit with a huge bill. These mistakes I'm about to walk through, they're super common and super easy to fix once you know what to look for. So mistake number 1, going with the cheapest option. We've all been there. You've been comparing policies, you see one that's half the price of the other and you think score. But cheap doesn't always mean better. It usually means bare bones coverage. For example, if you pick one of the lowest price policy you could find when you buy your first home, a pipe could burst and cause water damage, and then you can end up finding out the water damage wasn't fully covered and then end up paying $7,000 out of pocket. That policy that saved you only $15 a month could cost you way more in the end. Mistake number 2 is not knowing what's actually covered. Most people assume things like flooding or earthquakes are covered automatically, but that's actually usually not the case. Those are separate policies or add-ons. So for example, let's just say there was someone who had a tree fall through their roof during a storm. The tree removal was covered, but the damage to their fence or shed was not included because their policy excluded detached structures. So that's why you always want to know what's included and what's not. Mistake number 3 is underestimating your home's value. Your home's value today might be totally different than it was even 5 years ago. Construction costs have gone up and your neighborhood might have appreciated in value. If your policy doesn't reflect that, you might not get enough money to rebuild or repair if something major happens. For example, let's just imagine you insured your home for $300,000 years ago, but today it would cost $400,000 to rebuild. That $100,000 gap, you'd have to cover it yourself unless the policy includes full replacement costs, not just the original value. Quick tip is to check your policy limits yearly and get an updated value estimate online. It takes 5 minutes and can save you thousands. Mistake number 4 is skipping personal property coverage. It's not just about the house, it's your TV, your laptop, your clothes, kitchen appliances, furniture, even your sneaker collection. All of that adds up so fast. But here's the thing, if you don't have enough personal property coverage, you might only get a small check if something happens. Let's just say you had a break-in and lost around $15,000 in electronics and jewelry, but your policy only covered $5,000 of personal property and it was actual cash value. And so you only get back like $2,800 after depreciation. That's exactly why you need to make sure you're covered for replacement costs, not just what your stuff is worth used. Mistake number 5 is not asking about bundling discounts. This is one of the easiest wins, honestly. Most major insurance providers will give you a discount if you bundle your home and auto insurance. It could be 10 to 15% and even 20% off sometimes, just for keeping it all in one place. For example, let's just say someone switched providers and bundled their auto and home. Not only can your price drop by $40 a month, for example, but you also just have one point of contact if you ever need help. This just makes life so much easier, especially in a crisis. So I really highly recommend always ask about bundling. Even if you don't take it, it just gives you more options. Mistake number 6 is not checking deductible amounts. Your deductible is what you have to pay before your insurance actually kicks in. Some people set their deductible really high to save on monthly premiums, which is fine if you can actually afford it when something happens. As an example, let's just say there was a kitchen fire that caused about $12,000 in damage. If your deductible is $5,000 and you had no idea and you thought it was just $1,000, that difference can really hurt you because you'd have to pay that out of pocket before the insurance kicks in. So make sure you check your deductible and ask yourself, if I had to pay this tomorrow, could I? Now, mistake number 7 is forgetting to update after major changes. This one is so common. So let's just say you renovate a bathroom, add a new roof, install a security system, and forget to tell your insurance company. Renovations actually increase your home's value, which means you may need more coverage. And safety upgrades like alarm systems can actually reduce your premium. Let's just say someone upgraded their window and roof for $30,000 and only months later realized it could have lowered their rate, but they never told their provider, so it didn't count. When in doubt, call your agent and update your file. Even small upgrades can really help. Now, mistake number 8 is not comparing quotes. This one is huge. A lot of people go with the first company they see or stick to the one their parents used without checking for better deals. But premiums can vary a lot between companies for the same coverage. So you can test quotes for the same house in 3 different zip codes and find price differences over $1,200 a year for the exact same coverage terms. That's a vacation. That's your emergency fund. That's why I always recommend shopping around and comparing at least 3 options. If you want to compare in a super easy and simple way, what you want to do is click our link in the description below and you can go ahead and check this tool out. So all you have to do to compare homeowners insurance that fits your needs, go ahead and type in your zip code. When was your house built? Do you have an in-ground pool? What's your household income? How many cars does your household have? Go ahead and say 2. Have you or your family member honorably served in the U.S. military? Yes. Go ahead and click submit. And then you can find your top homeowners insurance provider in your area. It's super simple and super easy to use. Now let's talk about the cost for a quick second here. So the cost of home insurance depends on so many different factors. For example, your location, your home's age and condition, your credit score, your deductible, and how much coverage you want. So just remember, cheaper isn't always better. You want solid coverage, good customer support, and a company that actually shows up when things go wrong. Now, let's go over some of the pros and cons of buying home insurance this way. So starting with the pros, you get peace of mind knowing your home and belongings are protected. When something unexpected happens like a fire, break-in, or major storm, having the right insurance means you're not scrambling to figure out how to pay for it at all. Instead of dipping into savings or taking out a loan, your policy steps in to help cover those costs. That kind of backup plan brings a lot of relief, especially during stressful situations. Next, it can save you thousands of dollars long term. Sure, paying a monthly premium might feel like just another bill, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a small price to pay compared to the potential damage a single incident could cause. One burst pipe, one lightning strike, one fallen tree, and you could be facing repair bills in the tens of thousands. Insurance just gives you that financial buffer. Number 3 is you can customize your coverage to actually fit your life. One of the cool things about modern home insurance is how flexible it can be. You can add extra coverages for expensive electronics, jewelry, home offices, or even upgrades like solar panels. You can also adjust your deductible, including loss of use protection, or even get the coverage for identity theft. It's not just one size fits all. It can be tailored to you. Number 4 is comparing policies online saves you time and stress. Using a tool like the one linked below, like I showed you, you can compare options super quickly instead of calling a bunch of companies or getting stuck on hold. It gives you real quotes based on your actual home, not just general info, and that means fewer surprises when it's time to sign up. Now, I know it can feel overwhelming if you've never bought a policy before, but let's be honest, home insurance terms can be confusing between dwelling coverage, loss of use, replacement costs, and all the fine print. It's easy to tune it out. If you've never looked into insurance before, the whole process can feel like learning a new language. And of course, not all policies are super transparent, if we're being honest. Some companies make it tough to figure out what's actually covered until you file a claim, and by then, it's too late. That's why it's important to ask questions up front and make sure you understand your coverage, especially when it comes to deductibles, exclusions, and limits. Number 3 is you have to keep it updated as your life changes. This isn't a set it and forget it situation. Every time you remodel, make a big purchase, or even just improve your home security, you should let your provider know. Otherwise, your coverage might not reflect your current needs, and that could leave you underinsured when it counts. If you're a homeowner even planning to become one soon, you absolutely need a policy that protects you, not just one that looks good on paper. I highly recommend taking the time to review your current policy or compare options if you're new, so you know you're not throwing money away. Again, click our link in the description to take a free home insurance survey. It only takes a few minutes and it will give you real-time options tailored to your needs. That wraps up this video. If you've been meaning to review your insurance but didn't know where to start, I hope this made things so much clearer for you. This channel is dedicated to helping you make smarter, simpler decisions when it comes to insurance and protecting your finances. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and leave any comments or questions below. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.